Hello guys, I hope everyone is good. So welcome to day 3 of our Python course. Right. So today we are still going to be looking at our task manager from the previous lessons. So I'm just going to copy our task manager into task manager 3.py. Right. Alright, so I hope everyone is ready to begin. Okay, great then. So let's go ahead. So today our goal, right, is to make our task manager smart with decisions and validation. Right. So yesterday we talked about f strings, integers, floats, boolean, and etc. Right. So today we're also going to cover what booleans, comparison operators, logical operators, if, elif, and else statements, and basic validation. Right. So our goal for today is to improve the task manager. Right. So yesterday we collected what information about a task, the task name, description, priority, and estimated time. Right. So imagine you're driving a car, right? And you go to a traffic light, right? You have what? Stop, wait, and go, right? So the traffic light doesn't always show green, it doesn't always show red, and it doesn't always show amber, right? It has to decide that okay, now I'm supposed to show green, now I'm supposed to show amber, and now I'm supposed to show what? Red. Even our programs, systems, they do the same thing. They have to what? To decide what to show, depending on what? On the situation. Depending on the situation, it chooses what? A different action, right? So we have what? Condition, decision, and action. We have condition, decision, and action. So a program first checks what? A condition. If the condition is true or the condition is false, it performs what? An action. Right? So it checks for the condition and then checks if the condition is true or false. Then if it's true or false, it takes what? An action. Right? So yesterday I said that we have a data type called what? A boolean, and it only returns true or false. It returns one of these two values, true or false, capital letter T and small letter f. Right. So a boolean returns what? True or false. It returns true or false. So these are called booleans, right? So sometimes you might see the word ball. It's also a boolean. So sometimes it's referred to as a boolean or as a what? As a ball. Right? So unlike strings and numbers and floats, a boolean only answers one question. It only answers one question no matter what. A boolean will always answer one question. Right? The question is something true or is something false? This is what the boolean is only going to answer. Is it true or is it false? Only that question, nothing more. Is it true or is it false? right? Then we have what we call comparison operators, right? Comparison operators, right? So for comparison operators, we have this right facing arrow that stands for greater than. We have the left facing arrow that stands for less than, right? We have two equal signs, right? That stand for equal to, right? And then we have what? This sign that stands for what? Not, it's not equal, right? Then we have that, and then we have greater than or equal to, right? Then we have less than or equal to, right? So this is what our comparison operators, right? Greater than, less than, equal to, not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, right? Then we have what we call what? If statements, right? With if statements, that means that we are now making what? Decisions, and we make decisions based on these what? Comparison operators, right? So an if statement and comparison operators always go hand in hand, right? Are we all still together? Okay, great. So remember that if statements and comparison operators, they go together most of the times, right? For example, right, let me first comment out our program, right? Let's say priority equals to the string high, right? If priority is equal to high, we're just going to print this task needs, right, immediate attention, right? So what happens is that Python first declares this variable, okay, priority is high, right? So which means that the value of priority is high, right? Then here we have what? On line 34, we have what? If priority is equal to high, do this, right? So this means that if this is true, right, then do this, right? It's going to use what? The value. So Python is not going to see what? This word priority, but it's going to see what? This value high. So for Python, it's going to be if high is equal to high. So which means that it's true because they are equal, they are the same, right? But this high and this high, they are not the same when it comes to Python. Python is very strict with casing. So a small letter h and a capital letter H and a small letter h are not the same thing. They are two different things. When Python says if high is equal to high, false, this is false, it's not true, because this high is capital letter H and this high is what? Small letter h. Right. So Python is strict about casing. Right. So if it is true, then we're going to print this task needs what? Immediate attention. Right. So let me run the code so that you guys can see. I'm now running the code. See, it printed what? This task needs what? Immediate attention. Right. Okay, let me clear the terminal. Let me change this high from small letter h to what? Capital letter H. Right. Now running the code again. See, nothing was printed because these two are two different things. So remember that Python is strict about casing. Right. So then we have what you call what? Elif. Right? Elif and else. They both work with what? With these if statements. So it's always if condition, right? If this condition is not true, it's false, then it moves over to another if statement that we call what? Elif. That stands for else if. Right? So elif priority is equal to medium. Right? Print, let's say complete it soon. Right? Elif priority is equal to low. Print, it can be completed later. Then you have what you call an else statement. Else, print invalid priority. Right. So with these elif statements, you can have as many elif statements as you want. They can be 100, they can be million, it doesn't matter. It's up to you, right? So what's going to happen is that Python is going to see, okay, so what? Our priority is what? Is high, right? So if priority is high, then it's going to print this, and it's going to ignore this elif statement and this else statement. It's going to ignore them because the first condition was true. Right? So let's say our priority is low, right? So in this case, Python is going to check, is the priority equals to high? No, it's not, it's low. So which means this is false. Since it is false, it's not going to print this, right? It's going to move over to what? To elif, right? So to now check, is priority equals to medium? No, it's not. So which means what? It is false. It's not going to print this. They need to move over to this third elif. Is priority equals to low? Okay, yes, it is equals to low. So which means what? This condition is true. then it's going to print what? This, and it's going to ignore this, right? But if we, let's say we say low, right, it's going to check the first condition. No, it's false, it won't print this. The second condition, it's false, it won't print this. The third condition, it's false, it won't print this. Since all these three conditions are false, none of them is true, it will fall back to the else statement. It will just print this invalid priority, right? So the else block always it will only execute when on all of our conditions return what? False, right? So let's say our priority is what? Is high, right? So I'm now running the code so that you guys can see this task needs what? Immediate attention, because our priority is what? Is high. So it printed this print statement and ignored these other ones, right? So let's change our priority to low, right? I'm now running the code. See, it ignored this print function. This task needs immediate attention. It also ignored this one, completed soon, but it printed what? It can be completed later, because our priority is equal to low, right? Now if I change our priority, let's say to low, right, running the code, invalid priority, because what? All these three conditions, they returned false, all of them. See, so it ended up what? Falling to invalid priority. Right. So any questions so far? Okay, and what about the others?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, great. So let me comment this out, right? Then we have what you call logical operators, right? It's called what? Logical operators. So when it comes to logical operators, we only have two. We have and or. These two, and or, these are our logical what? Operators, right? So let's say we have a variable with the value 0. Ours is equal to what? To 0, right? Remember here I said that this condition these print statements are only going to what? To execute when the condition is true, right? Remember that. So with the what? With the logical operators, we are not going to be using what? One condition, like on the top here. Here we are only using what? One condition. With logical operators, we are going to be using what? Two or more conditions, right? So I'm going to start with what? With and. So I'm going to have if, no, right? Let's say if hours, okay, let's say our hours is 4, right? If hours is greater than 0 and hours is less than or equal to 24, right? Print what? Valid estimated time. Else print invalid estimated time, right? So you can use an else block if you don't have elif or blocks. There's nothing wrong with that. If you think that your condition, your if statement doesn't need an elif block, you can move over directly to an else block, right? So here we say that this only executes if this condition is true, right? Then on logical operators, we have and or, two logical operators, right? So here we have what? Condition 1 and condition 2, right? So here the keyword is going to be what? And, right? So in order for valid estimated time to print in our terminal, both of these what? Two conditions must be true. Both conditions must be true, right? If one of these conditions is false, then it's going to print what? Invalid estimated time, right? So right now our hours is 4, so let me run the code. It printed what? Valid estimated time, because our hours is above 0 and it's less than or equals to what? To 24. So which means that both of these conditions are what? Are true, right? So if I change our hours to what? To 35, right? And then let me run the code. It printed what? Invalid estimated time. Reason being is that these two conditions, one of them or both of them are false. But in this scenario, this one, hours greater than 0, it's true because 35 is greater than 0. But this second condition, hours is greater than or is less than or equals to 24, it's false. So that's why it printed what? Invalid estimated time. So that's because both of these conditions were not true, right? So with and, always know that both conditions must be true, right? Let me comment this out. Then we have what? Or, right? So let me copy this. If the condition must be true, okay, at least one condition must be true. Let's say 18 hours. Right. So the difference between and or is that with or, at least one condition must be true, right? So here our hours is 18. I'm going to run the code, right? It printed what? Valid estimated time. That's because our hours is 18 is greater than 0. Our hours is what? Our hours is 18, which means that it's less than or equals to 24. Both of these conditions were true, so it printed what? Valid estimated time, right? So if I change our hours to 30 hours, right, I'm going to run our code. It's still printed what? Valid estimated time, because what? If hours is greater than 0, this is true because what? 30 is greater than 0. But our hours is less than or equals to 24. this 30 is greater than 24. So this condition, what it returned false. It doesn't matter because at least one of these conditions must be true. Both of them can be true, that's fine. But with or, that means that at least one condition must be true. But if both conditions are what are false, then invalid estimated time is going to execute. Right. So, any questions with our logical operators? So, for everyone, you understand what logical operators?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great then. So, let me comment this out. Right. Let me clear my terminal. So, let's get back to our project. Right. So our project already asks the user for what? For the task details, and then we print what? The task details. Right. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So here we already have what? Priority. This priority. What you want to do is that if the priority is high, we want the user we want it to print what? These tasks should be completed immediately. If the priority is medium, we want it to print complete this task as soon as possible. If the priority is low, we want it to print this task can be done later. And then we need an else statement, right? That is going to print complete this task as soon as possible. No. I mean, our else statement is supposed to print invalid priority. Right. So, how are we going to do that? Who wants to tell us how we're going to use the if statements to do that? Anyone? Yes, Mr. Lupankwa.
So I have a question regarding how like I think I missed something. How are we knowing what's guiding us? How do you know what the system wants? To be honest, I actually don't know where we are coming from and going.
No.
You mentioned
Oh,
yes.
this is just a project that I created. So
Okay.
I have the guide on what our project is supposed to do for based on today's lesson.
Okay, you have it, not the other students. Confirm.
No. So like right
Okay.
now we have talked about logical operators, if statements, and comparison operators, and also the Boolean data type, right? So now I
Okay.
want us to work on this project, right?
Yes, sir.
So now my question is, I want one of you guys to tell us how to do it, right? So what we need to do is right now, right? If priority, this
Sorry,
priority,
sir.
yes,
Question. Sorry. Did we, when did we cover the elif statements? Did we cover them today, or we've been doing them since day one?
no, we covered them today over here.
Today. So
Yes,
that's what we call what conditionals. What are these?
yes, they are conditionals.
Okay, sir.
Yes, they are conditionals.
Okay. And your question was, what do we have to? How do we use if statements?
Yes, if the priority, using this variable priority, if the priority
Okay.
is high, it must print this. If the priority is medium, it must print this. If the priority is low, it must print this. Else, it
Oh,
must print something else.
okay. 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 Let me think.
Okay, anyone? Anyone wants to try? Okay, so what we have to do, right, is this. We already we have what our variable priority that takes what the input function, right? So what we have to check if our priority, right, is what is equal to high, right? If it is equals to high, it must print, right, it must print this task should be completed immediately, right? What if the priority is medium? How are we going to do it? Who wants to try?
I will try.
Okay, yeah.
We'll then have to put the elif statement, given that we are going to have the law also condition. So we'll say
Right. And then for low priority, how do you do it? Who wants to tell us? wants to take a try and tell us?
I can go again if it's okay.
Yes, sir, it's okay.
Yes, we are going to sorry.
Yeah,
Also, I'm saying, given that this could be our last option, I will use the else, but unless there is still another option to come, another condition to come, I can still use the elif. So I'm not so sure whether we are going to have anything after law.
yes, after law are supposed to have another condition just in case when the user doesn't enter high, medium, or low.
Oh, okay. So in this case, I will still use the elif priority condition.
Elif priority.
Priority is equal to low.
Okay, so it's going to print.
It can be completed later.
Okay, it can be completed later. Okay, what if user doesn't enter high, medium, or low? What can we do? Yes, Mr. Tinashe.
Yeah, I think that's when we use the else statement, else priority.
No. Okay, you are correct. That's why we use the else statement. But now with
Yeah.
the else statement, we don't include the condition. We just say
Okay.
else colon print whatever we wanted to print. Right. Right. So with an else statement, we don't use what? A condition. Okay. So do you all understand how these are if statements work, comparison operators and logical operators? Anyone with a question?
Sorry, sir. On the logical operators that we last used,
Yes.
the O one, I wanted to say maybe the hours is minus. Say they are in the negative. Is it in this case we're using 0? So I wanted it not to be practical. So there is obviously there is no negative hours, but maybe if hours is greater than, say, we put 1, and then our hours we are to assign 0, what will be the output in that case?
So it will not depend on the condition. If the hours is greater than 0 or
Line 63 there, yes.
63, if our hours is 0 and here our condition is 1, right?
Yeah, that would work.
So this means that this is going to return what? False, because our hours is less than 0, but this one is going to return true because what our hours is less than 24.
Sure. So I was putting a funny scenario whereby on line 63, instead of saying if hours is greater than 0, we say 1 or 2.
Yes, that also
So that,
works.
okay.
That also works as long as one of these conditions is true. It works.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So, anyone with a question? questions? Okay, so there are some situations, right? For example, here we're expecting what high in small letters, medium in small letters, and low in small letters, right? So if a user, for in case like you're on priority, if they enter high in capital letters, we still wanted to do this, we can punish them because what the casing is not the same, right? We also have what we call string methods, right? For string methods, right, let's say string methods. For string methods, we have these methods, right? We have dot lower, dot upper, right, dot title, right, and dot strip, right? So dot strip removes white spaces, right? And then dot title capitalizes what, the first letter of every word, right? And then dot upper, right, converts all characters to capital letters, converts all characters to capital letters. And then dot lower, right, converts all characters to lowercase, right? This is what happens. So in a situation whereby here we're expecting what small cases, small case high, medium, low, and the user just capitalizes the first the first letter by mistake, we shouldn't punish them for that. So we can use dot lower, like this. So in case, even if a user enters something like this, high or high, when it reaches this if condition, Python is going to see what small case high, not whatever casing the user input, right? So my homework to you guys for today is that play around with with this dot with these string methods. So to use the string methods, if you have let's say a variable, right, equals to, let's say, your name, right, you can just say dot lower. This is how you use the string methods, dot upper, just like that. This is how you use the string methods. You just say dot upper, dot lower, dot whatever. Remember that this only works with a string, not with an integer, not with a float. It only works with a string. So my homework to you guys to play around with with string methods. Right. So any question? Anyone with a question?
I'm good yet.
Yes.
I was actually saying I have understand everything.
Okay. So if no one has a question, then that's it for today. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Okay, thank you, sir. Monday, Tuesday, holiday. Are we on?
Yes, we are. We are on. Or you guys want a
Yes.
holiday?
No. Let's let.
Okay. Then that's fine. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Thank you.